You've tuned into Bellingham Podcast Media Tech for the week of September 30, 2016, episode number 14. We are back, and I am AJ Barce.
We are back, and I am Chris Powell. On this episode, AJ is going to share with us his journey as a Timelord. I'm learning how I could be a shiny, happy person by having less in my life. Plus, we'll share our favorite spots to stand in the place where we live. In this case, the York District of Bellingham. Hey, what's the frequency, AJ? It's right here, next on BPM Tech.
Gosh, it feels good to be back.
Welcome back, amigo.
Thank you. For all the podcast listeners that have been wondering where the heck we have been for the last month.
I just got out of jail a couple days ago. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I was going to say, no, please do not look at the Wacom blotter. He will not be on there.
That's right.
No, my son was born. So I've been doing the daddy duties of staying up all hours to a crying 2-week-old. So... so BPM kind of had to take a little hiatus, but we are not canceling the show.
Of course not.
I did have one of our listeners ask, like, are you guys still podcasting? Yes, we are.
Yes, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy, healthy, 10 fingers, 10 toes.
10 fingers, 10 toes.
Future podcast maniac.
I would hope so.
Yes, and so... we're thrilled for you, and you needed to take the time off. I should have done something in the interim to say, hey, we're taking a hiatus. AJ's got a newborn, but we're back, ladies and gentlemen. And AJ, where the heck are we?
So we are down. I like to call this the Crow's Nest. This is the Barkley Cinema side of the Woods Coffee House.
This is back where it all begins for Bellingham Podcast Media.
Yep, the home away from home. I really like this space.
It's a beautiful view. Bellingham sunset at around 7 o'clock recording time, and it's just a beautiful night. And we have such wonderful, colorful neon that can be seen for miles.
You notice that that's behind me, right?
Of course, yes.
I'm looking off in the distance, but also I would like to give a shout out to the nice young barista downstairs. Her name's Megan.
Yes, tonight we've had the privilege of having Megan serve our drinks for us, and shout out to Woods Coffee in general. Y'all are the goods. A Whatcom County, Bellingham staple. All y'all out there that might be listening, skip the Starbucks, go to Woods.
That's not hard.
It's a great location. So anyway, AJ, what you drinking there, cowboy?
Well, Megan poured me over a decaf because I do need to get some sleep tonight. A decaf pour over coffee, just black as my wonderful, beautiful heart, with a touch of sweetness, just so that I'm human.
You can't get enough sweetness in your life, can you?
Yep. How about you, Captain Anti-Caffeine?
Caffeine
NATO?
It's been. We'll talk about that in a little while. But right now, I am double fisting. I have a bottle of water, and I have a Woods non-caffeinated staple. In case you don't want coffee or tea, I have Naked Juice. Thank you very much. So that's what I'm drinking.
Nice.
All right, AJ, you're kicking it off, man. Tell us how it's like being a baby daddy.
Oh, baby daddy is good. So it actually dovetails into my first bit previously on BPM. We last left off, I was getting prepped to build a watch. And so I ordered a whole bunch of parts, found a guy over in Switzerland who would import a watch movement. And I got everything, started putting it together, learned... so much. I have to admit, it was a bit of an undertaking going from knowing jack, pretty much. I mean, I've got some mechanical savviness. I know how to put stuff together, but this is a project that is going to be many months in the making, and I have been successful, and I have been blogging about my trials and tribulations with this project. Basically, I got everything together, put it in a case, had it on my wrist, on my motorcycle. I rode all the way down to Skagit, put it through its paces, brought it all the way back, and it kept beautiful time. Then my son was born. Believe it or not, that watch helped more in the birthing process than any app could. Here's why. I was building it based off of a diver's watch. So if you look at a dive watch, it has a bezel, it rotates. And I'm not a diver. I mean, I like water, don't get me wrong. But and I've had several watches with a bezel, but I've never really used it. And it was funny because it's a diving bezel, it counts. So you can mark a certain minute or an hour, and you can see like how many elapsed minutes or how many elapsed hours have gone. And on a typical dive bezel, it's usually based off of 60 minutes. And when you're counting intervals of contractions, it's real simple to reset it. I don't have to worry about my phone battery dying. I was able to help my wife out using a simple analog app that we call a bezel. And so that was great. And then just like, then my son was born and everybody was back home and healthy and stuff. And in between feedings, of course, I have to do something because he's conked out. And so I started ripping it apart again. And that's where I started getting into just like being a geek, ripping apart a computer. How can I make this better? How can I don't like this. And I found all of these elements about a watch that I never knew I absolutely don't like. And it all starts with, and I talked a little bit about this to you quite some weeks ago, country of origin when it comes to parts. And a lot of people have different opinions of machining in different countries. And this watch is very international. The dial came from Singapore. The case was from China. The movement was Swiss. The watch strap was, I think, Polish at the time. I'm sourcing everywhere.
This is a United Nations timepiece right here.
Of watches, right? Shout out to Bay Engraving. I had them do the case back. I put together a design, a vector graphic, and he was able to cut it. Putting all this together, I found out very quickly what my tastes are and what functionality I require in what this project has set out for me to do is my EDC, my everyday carry watch. I'm wearing my Swiss Frederic Constant, the watch that I got to commemorate my son's birth. But it is, it's got like, I think 5 bars of water protection and stuff. It is a good watch, and I've put some nicks in it already because I'm not one of these collector types. I like wearing this piece of mechanical
every
art.
day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it got me, that's why I wanted to build this watch is, I wanted to put my geek paces together, the garage mentality of let's make this thing work. And quickly I found what I don't like in Chinese knockoff. I'm going to throw that out. Chinese knockoff cases. They are designed to look pretty, but not necessarily hold tight. That's what I have found. And I've also found that, Swiss movement, I'm glad I bit the bullet. You've talked about this and taking the hit up front so that you have something of quality.
Buy the best, cry once.
Exactly. And I'm glad that I bought a Solita 200, SW200, which if you're a watch nerd, it's based off of the ETA 2824. What that means if you're not a watch enthusiast is if you look at the dial, it has a sweeping second hand, it has an hour, a minute, and it has a little aperture window for a date. Just simple, 1 through 31. And I'm glad that I went with Swiss because I have made a metric ton of mistakes. And that watch movement should not work. I've accidentally squished things. I've pinched things. And on top of that, because it is a well-known, well-built movement that's been around for, 30, 40, 50 years, I'd be able to buy parts. If I would have gone with some cheapo knockoff, basically they encourage you just to buy another one and scrap, what you got. And that's not what I wanted to do with this. I accidentally lost a part, which gets me to the other thing that I've found out about this project is I thought I had a steady hand. I've put some small stuff together, Chris. If you're a geek, you know exactly what screw in a computer that you absolutely hate, and that is usually the case screws for a hard drive.
Yep.
They're small, you lose them. And on top of that, just like a watch, you can't usually use a magnetic tipped anything because it's a hard drive. Same thing with a watch. You can't use magnetic tipped anything because you don't want to magnetize the parts in the movement.
Especially something as small as that watch movement.
Yeah, which means you have to have a very steady hand. And I'm using a loop. I have a little look. I look like I'm steampunk when I'm working on this thing. I have a little piece of glass that's over my eye that magnifies 7x so I can see what the heck I'm doing. And I'm losing screws and I can find them and stuff. Well, one of the things I wanted to do is I really wanted to get into the guts of a watch. Kind of that enthusiast watchmaker mentality. I'm not going to tool myself, but I'm going to use what's there. So I did. I've torn into this movement, which a lot of modders, kind of going into the different cultures that I have found in this community of watch enthusiasts. Modders usually do the facade stuff. I wanted to dive into the movement, and because I broke part of the movement, I had to figure out what I broke. There is something about something something mechanical where you can troubleshoot it and you know exactly what you did wrong. In today's silica day and age, Chris, I don't know how many times usually the answer is, have you tried turning it off and on again? And magically it works. And that's frustrating as a tech.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm glad that the end user's happy. I'm glad that I don't have to, bash my head. But there's something nice about looking at something and you know that there is exactly 65 parts. And one of those 65 parts is broken. What is it? There's something very satisfying. I figured out there's a part of the movement called a keyless, which is where the stem goes in. I busted something. Actually, I misaligned something, but went in there. I was able to get in there and fix it. And in doing so, I lost a part. There is a spring called a click spring. I'll show you a picture after the podcast. Basically, imagine a piece of metal about 1/4 the thickness of a staple, and about, if you're looking at a standard staple, where it folds over on the other side, that is the entire width of the part. I was putting it back in and boing!
Oh my.
There ain't no way you're going to find it.
Nope.
$10 and hopefully it arrives next week. I think I'm getting one from Poland.
So I have a question relating to that. As a emerging horologist, I believe that's the correct term.
Yes.
And as an emerging watchmaker, do you buy 3 and 4 of parts just for something like this?
So I thought about that, and no, I'm sticking with this one. I'm just trying to get the parts in. I've gnarled some things and stuff, but in doing so, I'm out my watch that has been so helpful. Timing feedings, for instance. My son likes to feed every 2 hours. Pretty much. He is like clockwork.
Yeah, no pun intended, yes.
And so that led me into, because I got into this community, there's this other segment called modders. And mods, basically, they take a watch and they start monkeying the heck out of it. It's like buying an off-the-shelf PC, a Dell, for instance. You take it home and it's still a Dell, but you're going to rip out the video card. You're modding it, as opposed to like what I did, which is I took all of off-the-shelf parts and put this thing together.
This goes beyond just replacing the strap with something different.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you're still getting into it. So there's a community around the Seiko SKX series, which is a dive watch, the Seiko SKX 007 or 009. It's a tried and true watch that's been around for years, and there's a huge community of people that make stuff for it. Aftermarket, it's like getting a Honda and putting aftermarket rims and a header and exhaust and stuff. And that's what this community is that I'm kind of putzing around with. So I've ordered a Seiko SKX 007 from a guy down in California. And I'm going through the process of modding this watch. It's going to have a coating. You would appreciate this. This is a watch that I do not have anything like in my repertoire. It's all black.
Oh, I like that already.
But it's not a blackout. Yeah, I mean, it does have indicators and such. But it's all black because there is another process that's going on top of this, which is what's called a Cerakote. Cerakoting, if you're a weapons enthusiast, is usually the coating that goes on to weapons, such as rifles and whatnot. It's kind of like if you're familiar with like PVD coating of metal, this is more of an aerosol approach to it. And it's tough as nails. It's ceramic based, and basically I'm having this thing coated in it. And I'm going to mod it from there. It's going to have a 12-hour dial, so I can have a second time zone. It'll be cool.
Will this block bullets?
Pretty much.
All right, sounds good.
So anyway, that's long and the short of it, and I totally just went off the watch nerd end.
But here comes the bad pun alert.
Huh.
This has been a labor of love.
It has been. Everything's been blogged on my blog. I mean, it's not even part of my Patreon or anything else.
We'll get to that blog towards the end of the show in case anyone in the watch field or in the weapons coding field wants to check that out.
It's unique. So anyway,
I'm impressed that you will undertake something so delicate and going beyond the game of operation.
Oh yeah,
where you had to grab the femur without buzzing the sides.
Yeah.
This is light years beyond that. So
no.
Kudos. I look forward to seeing the finished product and enjoying that as your everyday carry.
Yep. So you'll see that on my wrist soon. Hopefully, maybe. So Chris, what's new in your life?
What's new in my life? We're in the fall season, made it through the summer, and I have enjoyed my little website project that I've been doing called WhatCanWorkflow.com. Shameless plug. I get a chance to interview and make connections with professionals in Bellingham and in Whatcom County, and I've got all different types of professionals. It doesn't have to be computer techs. In fact, I only have a couple, and really enjoy that website. Really enjoy writing some articles about technology. I'm teaching some classes at Whatcom Community College. Shout out to
what classes?
So about 80,000 people in this county got a catalog in the mail a while ago, and it had my ugly mug on it. Pretty much I'm doing a lot of Google classes, like Google Essentials, for those of you that would like to learn some hidden secrets or other ways to turbocharge or enhance your web surfing, whether it be through the Google Chrome browser or through Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Maps, Google anything. I'm teaching these classes. Check out the catalog or go to Google, Whatcom Community College, Community Education, and you can probably drill down and find my class. And I'm also trying out a class called Organize Your Digital Life, which is a new one, but this has been, 10, 12 years in the making with my personal journey for clutter removal, and really has amplified the past few years as I've been working on eliminating a lot of unnecessary from my life, both tangibly and digitally intangibly, for lack of a better term. So I'm teaching some classes for the community education this fall, and enjoying it. And at this point, it's a fall season. The weather's blissfully getting in the 60s for highs, which I thoroughly enjoy. I like jacket weather.
It's not jacket weather yet. It's vest weather.
Fair enough. I enjoy anything that doesn't involve 80 degrees. That usually gives me the clanks. But anyway, things have been going along fairly well. Plus, I had the opportunity to be a model in a photo shoot over the summer.
Ooh la la.
But this was actually the joint project that we had alluded to with the LIFX. I think you were doing the LIFX stuff with the you got to talk about it, because I'm just viewing it as like a Street Fighter shoot.
That's pretty much what it was.
Myself and another gent. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about that photo shoot thing?
Okay, so LIFX, which is a brand of Wi-Fi smart home connected light bulb. They reached out to me about a year ago to be a brand ambassador. So full disclosure, I'm a brand ambassador of LIFX. And so they hooked me up with a bulb, which was cool because I have 4 of them personally. But I told them about this project idea that I had where I wanted to integrate this as a lighting source for photography. It's just one of those things where I just thought it'd be kind of cool. And if I could pull it off, awesome. And, LIFX would get good content. I would get good content. And I think it worked as, better than I could ever have thought.
It was lit.
It was lit.
For all those kids out there listening, it was lit.
It was lit. And so basically we had Chris and we had another colleague, Kevin, and we took to the streets. Chris, you were dressed up as a very dark and savory person. Who are you dressed up as?
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, AJ proposed or pitched this idea to our mutual friend Kevin and myself. And he wants to do something where he's describing a martial artist and a street fighter. And
like the video game.
Like the video game.
For clarification.
And so, Johnny Cage wins. And so my mouth started salivating because I was picturing myself not in cosplay or something.
This qualifies as cosplay.
But I had an opportunity in my midlife crisis age to be able to get dressed as the Punisher. And so our good buddy Kevin, he was dressed as a martial artist with a staff and swords and all this other stuff. In the middle
of downtown Bellingham.
We had police cars that were driving by.
Thank you, BPD, for not coming by and asking what's up.
And thank you for not rolling up to a guy in a black leather jacket wearing his sunglasses at night so he can sit still for 45 seconds on a photo shoot. No, it was a blast. But the pictures have been made of, have been released, and they're on your site.
Yep. They're on. You can find them at 500px, 500px.com/AJ Barce, or on my Patreon, and they're viewable for everybody. But it was really fun because the end point of this, that was the genesis. So the ending of this whole thing was I wanted to release this on National Video Game Day. And so I did. And when I did it, it blew up. It was pretty cool. I mean, cosplayers were digging on it. They were digging on you. You were looking sharp as the
I don't
Punisher.
know about that. Y'all know I'm a teddy bear on the inside, but thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for being a pretty model.
I gotta say, it was a pleasure to be like, move to the left, one step back. Now hold for 45 seconds in this flex position where I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
And my favorite picture out of all of them, from what I've seen, was like the end where I'm the winner and I'm holding a crowbar up above my head and Kevin's looking down.
Yeah.
And like, he lost and I won, and I just thought, that makes me happy. And I think I might put that outside my office door.
Sure.
Like, I'm a winner.
Yeah.
So that was a blast. And should there be any other LIFX people that want to mess with light photography?
Yeah. So all of that. So the process, I blogged about it. It's on my blog. I also put it in there's a community on Facebook that just a bunch of DIYers, and I threw it in there and stuff. And a lot of people were just interested in it because the premise is, basically, I just took parts from around the home to make a light staff, which is helpful for doing long exposure photography, which is what we were doing that night. So basically, you do light painting. You swish around a light bulb, but hey, this light bulb, you can control the brightness, you can control the color, you can control changing in between, And so by doing a little bit of geekery with a mobile Wi-Fi hotspot, we were able to connect to it and change everything on the fly. And I think the sum total of all the parts, like the bulb, I think LIFX bulbs go for about $70 a pop. I used a cardboard tube, wrapping paper tube. I bought the only thing I really bought per se that I wouldn't have had around the home was a light fixture, like one of these drop-down ones that are above us right now. I think it was like a whopping $6 on Amazon, Prime shipping type thing. Wired everything, put a whole bunch of tape on it, hooked it up to a UPS, uninterrupted power source. That way I had a battery backup that was running a LED light bulb. They're not that power intensive. Threw it in a camera bag and we were set. That was it.
This was an undertaking and it was a blast. So we'll see if there's any kind of part 2 in 2017 perhaps.
Perhaps.
But so that was a fun time. So
I talked about my Timelord hacking. Tell me more about your biohacking. How's anti-caffeine world?
Well, I tend to identify and I subscribe to the minimalist way of life.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So I realize that I'm enjoying the process of enjoying more with less. And while I have made great strides in eliminating a lot of possessions in my life, trying to slim down my tech toys and my music gear, playing guitar and bass, only having the essential things, I've also taken a look inward about what I'm ingesting and what I'm consuming and shoving in my mouth.
So you're putting a lot of carbs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of caffeine. Is that what you're saying there, Chris?
For a few years, I was a devotee of the 5-hour energy shot. And I would have one on the way to work, the morning commute, glug, and it just seemed to even me out. And then, but I was, I have a sweet tooth, and I enjoy the fizz that occurs with soda. And I've just seen way too many documentaries, way too many reports about the negative aspects of caffeine. And what really hit was there's a oracle out there. His name's Chris McChesney, and no relation to Kenny Chesney, but he gave a presentation about how to optimize your day and how to just be better, how to hack your day. And one of the big points that resonated with me involved the amount of how caffeine, which is a drug, still remains in your system as you are sleeping. And there are times when I do not get a deep amount of sleep, and so I'm like, how can I make this better? I'm a knowledge worker. I solve tech problems. I can't be groggy in the morning. I have to solve problems like that, and so I got to be on my game.
You got to be sharp.
I got to be sharp. So okay, I'll go first. What happens when I eliminate caffeine from my life? How does my body react?
How long have you been doing this now?
This was Tuesday at the fair week, so we're going to go mid-August. So I'm about 6 weeks. Okay. 6 weeks, going on 2 months. And I really, I'm not frolicking in the meadow like everything is awesome, like the Lego movie.
The hills are alive.
That's right. No, but basically, I am getting a good night's sleep, at least according to my Fitbit.
Yeah.
I'm only restless a few times, less than 6 per night versus 14 or 15. Okay, that's cool.
Okay, so that's analytics. Okay.
I was afraid that in the afternoon I would have a mental crash due to lunch. Have not had a crash, as my body's returned to somewhat of a circadian rhythm. So keeping that up, and I'm just, I don't deal with the jitters. And plus I get to save a lot of money on coffee and et cetera. It's a social thing. It's everywhere. Caffeine is everywhere. And I have to look for substitutes. The second thing that I wanted to eliminate, and I actually did this on the same day as eliminating caffeine, I eliminated soda. And I've loved soda since I was a kid.
Soda of choice?
Coke.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a Coke guy.
Just a plain...
Well, I'm an equal opportunity soda lover.
Okay.
With the exception of Faygo.
Okay. I guess I'm not in that culture of soda. What is Faygo?
Faygo is a type of soda drink that is really fans of ICP.
Okay.
And we can leave it at that. So I've tried most sodas and cream soda. Not a fan of cream soda. Okay. So but anyway, I'll go for all that. And I just it's everywhere. It's so convenient at parties. Everyone's got soda and alcohol. Okay, well, I will have an alcoholic beverage maybe once, twice a month. Really, I'm not that, that hasn't been a situation, thank God. But eliminating soda is what do I replace that fizzy urge with? And so I've been able to accomplish both caffeine and soda with seltzer water. Okay. So Talking Rain, Cascades, something, as long as it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup or caffeine, it's just got carbonation, it's got the fizz, it's got the, and
so the Perriers and Pellegrinos of the world.
There you go. And but with some of these, it's like 86 cents for a 2-liter bottle.
Yeah.
Giddy up. That's easy on the pocketbook. And so I will have these to supplant my urge for caffeine and soda. The third thing that is coming up, and so basically, what are the results? I haven't lost a huge amount of weight. Because I still have a sweet tooth. Still maintaining a level of exercise and working on that. My mind is I'm just me. That's how I'm viewing it.
Oh, that's good, because I like you.
No, well, thank you. That makes one of us. And so I'm working on trying to improve how I feel about myself. And it's been a process. And, I'll go first in anything before I will say, yes, you should do this. I told myself I was going to do this for the rest of the year. So until the end of 2016. So on New Year's Eve, I'm going to drink nothing but Coke and Monster energy drinks and stuff. But anyway, the next thing that I'm ramping up for, and we'll probably cover this sometime in October, there's something special about October 10th, which is a 10/10.
Oh, okay.
And so what I decided then was on that day, I will give up junk food.
Oh, my.
There have been reports out there and other studies that you need 2 months to develop a habit or a system or a routine. I give it 21 days and I'm pretty much locked into it. But if I go on October 10th, by not having junk food, that will take me smack dab in the middle of holiday Christmas season and all of those treats and all of the sugary stuff. And if I can kill that urge before that happens, I might be able to clean out even more of my insides. So
define junk food for me. What are you qualifying as this?
Cookies, ice cream, brownies, cakes, anything that contains that kind of sugar. Okay. But if there's sugar in spaghetti sauce, I'm still going to eat that. Okay. But this is the stuff that downtown Cornwall Street, Pure Bliss, love you. It's awesome. Love that place. But
more cake for me.
I gotta have the water there instead of all of the
everything
delicious
else.
So yeah, I'm gonna. But this is what else can I, by subtracting from my life, I gain more or I add more. So as we continue on, I'll let you know about my process.
So are you out of curiosity? Because I'm drinking. I just drank decaf coffee. Are you against coffee completely, or do you partake in the extraction? There's Swiss water treated coffee beans, which are zero caffeine.
Even with decaf coffee, there is a level of caffeine in it, and I'm just trying to go cold turkey.
Okay.
And on this day, no. We all know, if you've listened to earlier podcasts, that coffee makes me angry.
Yes.
And so I try to, I will have other types of beverages, every now and then because I like being happy. So yeah, I'm not against coffee. I think it's great. It's the friendly drug.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah, exactly. And you need this in your current season of life, to keep your mind sharp. But I think at this point, I'm just going to see what happens to me when I eliminate this from my life.
Interesting.
And so caffeine, soda, sugar, like sugary foods, I'm going to see what happens. And so that's what's going on. I'm trying to hack my body and try other nutritional supplements like vitamins and see what else happens.
Okay. So we've hacked time and we've hacked your body. Shall we go about hacking our favorite place? That was a bad segue.
It works out. Let's hack Bellingham.
Let's hack Bellingham. So, Chris, I believe for this, we're still on exit 252, but we're not really going by exit.
I already did that.
Yep. We're instead, just recapping for those, because we have been off the air for about a month. So what we're doing is we're bouncing around all of Bellingham to the different boroughs, the different districts of Bellingham. And we decided this week, or whenever we do this podcast, that we're doing the York District. So where in Bellingham, in the Great 360, is the York District?
So I got to clarify before this because the York District is could be classified as a residential district.
It could.
So what is the boundary of the York District? Like, where does it go to? Because I know it goes down York Street.
Yeah.
But does it also cover, like... So I did some looking around in the York District, and I'm looking at Google Maps, and I'm like, what in this area? Okay, so there's grocery outlet, which is kind of cool. It's got some great prices on
the
food.
BGO.
That's right. Give them props. They got decent prices on food.
No, I'm not. That was not a slight against them by no means. No, I do like the BGO.
Yes, but there's a place that's nearby called Great Harvest Bread.
Ah.
Now, does that qualify? Because if that's
we'll qualify. It's near. It's right. Literally, it's right. Like I can't remember what road that runs downtown, but basically Great Harvest is literally on the boundary of the York District, because if you go one street over, that is the York District. It's a matter of fact, if you look at the street signs, above the street sign says Historic York District.
Well, all right. Well,
I'll qualify it. So yeah,
I'm picking Great Harvest Bread because
of the sugar that they put in their bread.
Yes, exactly. No, I love, of course, the moment you open the door, you get the smell.
Oh, yes.
And that is like
heaven.
That's a good way of putting it. And then, of course, they're enablers, because the fine staff at Great Harvest Bread will offer you a sample of something.
Oh, yes.
And it's like...
I dare you to go in there and not come out with at least a loaf of bread. It is the best sales pitch in the world.
And the bread that they make is made with care. Mm-hmm. And this is the running theme.
Options.
Yeah, and options. This is the running theme we've got in this podcast about our favorite spots in Bellingham. They take care. They are local. Yep. They are friendly. Mm-hmm. And they make awesome food. Bread is the foundation of life. And
beer.
And beer, yes. Very well said. And so that is my pick for the top spot in the York District.
Dig it.
Giggity, giggity. I love Great Harvest Bread. So,
sweet.
AJ, how about you? What's your place of choice?
So you were close with the BGO, but if you go deeper into the residential side of it, you'll know that there is some really funky houses back there. Like, there are some historic houses. Matter of fact, there's one back there that looks like something from the Addams Family. Like, it's really tall. Looks like a... Thank you. Cousin thing. But no, like there's it's just a fun and funky neighborhood, especially in the fall with all the leaves dropping and stuff. It is very typical autumn Bellingham if you go through that district. Well, in my grad school days, I was working with the fine students of the KVIC, which is the student television station at Western, and we decided to participate in what is now a former film festival called Insomnia, where you have to stay up 24 hours. And it's it was when Apple was doing film festivals. It was an Apple-led event where college students would gather in teams. And at 6 a.m., there was a list of, like, basically a scavenger hunt of shots. And you had to incorporate as many of those as you can in a coherent short film and produce it in 24 hours on Apple equipment, blah, blah, blah. And so one of the scenes that we did was at this little market called Nelson's Market in New York.
Nelson's Market.
And Nelson's Market, there is nothing fancy about it. It's just this quaint little market, community market. It's got the bare essentials there. But also on the flip side of that is a restaurant. It's called Marlin's. And Marlin's, it is hands down one of my favorite low-key, there's probably 6 people listening to this podcast that know about this place. It's a great place to just get a sandwich. You go in and you can get a hot grilled cheese sandwich and some chips and call it good.
There's not a pretentious bone in that restaurant's body.
Nope. You can get coffee for that. It's like a diner, but it's a I like the essence of community that's there because, and you're not going to find a lot of hipster college students. You're not going to find the person who is, in a button-up shirt and a tie that's whisking off in their Tesla. It's just a local spot. It reminds me of where I grew up in Seebeck. We had a corner store that was almost exactly like that. And you can go in and you get the bare essentials, you get some good food, the bill is super cheap, the wait staff is awesome. Matter of fact, the wait staff is also the person that checks you out on the other side of the store, right?
Yep.
It's just a one-stop shop. And I like it.
Well, and also, folks, as you're listening to this, Simon says, check out Marlin's and Nelson's Market.
Yeah.
Why, you might ask? I'll add to why from what AJ talked about.
Oh.
You go shopping at any grocery store, mega grocery store that we have in today's day and age. Hagen, Fred Meyer, Winco, these are the ones in Bellingham at least. If you're around the world, you got these huge mega marts. There's a concept called decision fatigue. And I experience it all the time because, quite frankly, I cannot decide on 15 types of peanut butter.
Oh, my.
My brain will start misfiring, even as I'm eliminating caffeine and soda. I cannot pick what I'm looking for. With Nelson's Market, you don't have to worry about decision fatigue. They've got decent stuff there. Mm-hmm. And it's reasonably priced. Yep. And it's
fun.
It's fun. And so you won't have to worry about what type of pickles should I be getting. There'll be a bottle of pickles. It'll be reasonably priced. Buy it. So go check that out.
Yeah.
So AJ, we've pretty much covered a great amount of Bellingham and podcast, but we haven't talked a lot about tech other than the watch-related stuff.
Sure.
Let's wrap this up because we're wrapping things up.
There's a lot of announcements that's happened in the last 10 days?
Yes. New operating systems, new updates, new devices. We'll be talking about that as we plan for October, I would say, for advanced gift-giving guides, if we want to. Yeah. But let's talk about an app that has resonated with you or that's something that you've been enjoying on your mobile devices.
So I kind of revisited something. So when the just because of the change of season and stuff, I needed to do a really quick video, and I don't mean like a GIF or anything. I just needed a quick glimpse of what my day looked like. And Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, but it's one of the few social networks I do partake in, both from the social aspect as well as my photography. And they have subsequent apps that you can plug into it. One I think is called Boomerang, where you can kind of loop a little GIF type of thing and post it to your Instagram. But there's also another one, and it was like a flash in the pan. And I feel like, the moment I say this, people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I remember using that once." And it was called Hyperlapse. Hyperlapse. And the principle of a hyperlapse is actually a photographic term. It's where you actually do, instead of a time lapse is usually dictated by a single camera at a single point, and you're capturing a certain chunk of time truncated. So perhaps you see a sunset and you see the sun gradually set because a photograph's taken maybe every minute as opposed to 30 in a second. And so that's a time lapse. A hyperlapse is the same thing, but you are in motion. So you see this speed through of maybe going downtown. As you're driving, you take a hyperlapse with a focal point. Let's say, downtown Bellingham or the Mount Baker Theater. You may drive around the entire Mount Baker Theater, and you kind of get this interesting, almost like a 3D perspective of what you're videoing. And so I did one, and I was thinking to myself, it's I could take my iPhone, take a whole bunch of shots, and I could do it. There's an app for that. And I remembered Hyperlapse, and I did it, and I posted it, and I just it's an interesting tool for telling a story. If you need to do a really quick time-lapsey type of thing. And it's made by the folks over at Instagram.
Very good.
Hyperlapse. What about you?
How much is it? Free? Or
it's free.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Yep.
So mine's not free.
Okay.
So Android users, hang tight. Next app that we talk about, I'll be hooking you up. But this one's probably for iOS users. So Apple, iPhones, iPads. So YouTube, everyone knows YouTube.
Wait, the YouTube?
Yeah, the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Yes. And they have this thing now called YouTube Red. YouTube Red is a paid subscription, about $10 a month, in which you get a bunch of features where you can play music in the background if you close the app out, and you can download media on your device to listen to offline, and you get additional features with your regular YouTube app.
Do you still get ads?
No. I think that
okay.
may be another thing as well, because you're paying a lot of money and it'll skip through it. Good call. But I did the trial for 30 days. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I have a different way of consuming my music.
Sure.
It's such. But there's an app out there in the App Store for Apple folks. It's called ProTube. ProTube costs about $3.99 or $4.99, something like that. And basically what this does, it gives you the same features as YouTube Red, one-time purchase. And trust me on this. I deleted my YouTube app on my Apple devices, and I load ProTube on there, and I haven't looked back. The UI is logical. There are no annoying ads before what I'm looking for. Go straight into it. A logical organization of categories, and you don't. It was worth my $4 or $5. So I'm not really good at doing the whole sales pitch, but if you go check out ProTube on the App Store, you might be pleased with your $3 or $4.
With that $3 and $4, because you are talking about taking your content with you, are you able to do the Apple AirPlay and Google Casting? Or
not only AirPlay with the Apple TV, but it does also work with Google's Chromecast.
Sweet.
So it covers. So on your Apple iPhone, if you've got someone who has a Chromecast, or you go over there, you can stream to that. And so
parties.
It's burly. It's got some teeth to it. And so
That's cool.
I'm a fan of that. So
that's cool. Well, shall we wrap up?
The first podcast of the Sun era for AJ, and
yes.
So
we'll call this the Subdued Sleepless edition of BPM, because as you can tell, I am not as peppy as I normally am.
You did all right with the watch stories, and you've been hanging in there. I give you props. Yeah. But it is getting dark out now since the summer days are waning. So yeah, we got to wrap this thing up. Yep. So. For all of y'all listening, thank you very much. And we'd love to hear from you, as always. Give us a call on your mobile phone, 201 area code 731-8324, 201-731-TECH. Leave us a voicemail. Let us know what you would like us to talk about. If you are tired of hearing about me yammer on about hacking my body and eliminating stuff, and you want me to talk about freaking Windows 10, say so. Let us know. I got a mouthful about Windows 10, let me tell you.
And it's all good and unbiased, right?
And it's all going to be clean too, because we don't want the explicit tag on our podcast. So yeah, give us a voicemail. We'd love to hear some feedback. So yeah, AJ, as we wrap up, where are a couple places that people can go check out your work?
Yep. So the normal spots. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. It's at AJBARSE. You can find me on 500pix if you want to follow my photography, 500px.com/AJBarse, or you can support me as a Patreon patron, because I am a creator and I make stuff for the interwebs. And if you appreciate what I do, you can support me and also get some goodies in the background and find out about really cool shoots like the LIFX Light Fighter shoot that we did. And you can find me at Patreon. That's patreon.com/AJBarse. Chris, how about you?
Well, on Twitter, I lurk, but I also post every now and then. You can check me out at MNMLTEK, Minimal Tech, not a lot of vowels. You can also check out Whatcom Community College, Community Education. I will be listed in the catalog, and some of those classes coming up. Sign up. You get me for 2 hours.
I've been waiting for you to say that because I wanted to say this. Great googly moogly.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Googly moogly. Yeah, that was worse than my labor of love. Anyway, and also you can check out WhatcomWorkflow.com, and you could also check out a little newsletter if you're interested, something that goes beyond what we discuss here. I have a newsletter called Quiet Conversations, and it's tinyletter.com/Christopher Powell. I rarely use my full name, but someone else took my regular name. So tinyletter.com/Christopher Powell if you want to get my newsletter, which is whatever I feel like talking about, which is rather random at times.
I actually I'm one of your followers. I do get it. I like it. It's just you do it's kind of the off the beaten path. In a good way.
It's a conversation that two people would be having in a coffee shop. There is no megaphone because the internet is full of megaphones. And I have a fairly quiet voice. I have a fairly deep voice. I do not try to admonish. I just try to share.
Yeah.
And so check it out.
It's subdued. I like it.
I'm rather serene in a lot of cases. So there you go.
Cool. Well, that wraps it up for this edition of BPM Tech. Thank you so much for subscribing, tuning, rating us, and listening to us on your favorite podcast app of choice. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Spreaker. That's speaker, but with an R. You can find us on SoundCloud. And you can find us, for those of you that are on Android, yes, we are in the Google Play Podcast Store. So wherever you like us and listen to us, please do think about, liking and sharing and reviewing and giving us some feedback. We greatly appreciate it. I'm AJ Barce.
And I'm Chris Powell. Thanks again for joining us on BPM Tech.